All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, welcome to another time of Reflections with Kevin Vaughan. And I am so excited about having one of my colleagues, my fellow business partners, if you will, even though I haven't met her yet. But what a welcome, Catherine Knabb. Catherine, how you doing today, ma'am? God bless you.
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking, and thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you had to accept because you could have said no.
I could have, yeah. Why would
Amen.
I do that though?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us as well. Those listening live, it's always a pleasure to have guests on from around the globe talking about what they do. So we're going to be talking to Catherine today about, first of all, her business, her services, and type of clients she's looking for. We're going to open up with that first, and then we're going to go into reflections. We always like to hear from my colleagues and fellow human beings on the planet, a little bit about what they learned and what they processed over the years that got them to where they're at today. Because in fact, Catherine, as you know, we're still here. That's pretty good. We're still here today. That's real good.
That's true.
I love it.
We
Well,
get
Catherine,
another day.
yeah, exactly. Well, Kathy, as you know, so much going on the planet today, even as we speak. And I want to just have you open up, if you won't mind, just share a few encouraging words or empowering words, anything you'd like to say to the audience, just to give them a little hope for the day.
Sure, sure thing. I would just say that nothing is going on that wasn't meant to be. Everything is planned and nothing is a surprise. Uh, Change is
Yeah,
always going to go on, but
yeah,
there's going to be always something positive to be had in the change. We just have to be constantly looking for the positive, and we'll find it.
yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. I thank you so much for that. Catherine, I was listening, or actually learning and thinking about that same area. But for those, this is for the believer, of course, for the believer who
Yep.
believes there's a God in heaven. God has everything orchestrated. They don't understand it all, but He has everything planned for us a certain way. I don't
Mhm.
understand the logic sometimes, but I don't have to. He's God, and I don't have to understand what God is doing. But the
Well,
fact
we
that
certainly know that nothing is a surprise to him.
exactly.
It might be, and I don't even think anything is accidental. I think that it,
No, no.
things happen intentionally, and then other things happen consequentially.
Yeah,
But how we react to it is our responsibility.
that's it. That's the part we got to learn right there. And that's so powerful. Yeah, I was saying, as you know, Catherine, and believe everything has purpose. We just don't know what everything has purpose for, but everything
That's right.
has a purpose. It's amazing. Yeah. Because so what God releases, ladies and gentlemen, He has purpose. He don't just put stuff out there just to be doing it. So everything has
That's
purpose.
true.
I don't care the little microbes that we don't even see underground. I mean, there could be thousands of little microbes way down in the earth somewhere. They have purpose. They're here
That's
for a
right.
reason, all the way up to the ionosphere, folks. So again, God is in control. He knows what's going on. We just need to enjoy the ride, right, Catherine? A little bit.
Hmm.
I love it.
There was a book, I can't remember the title of it.
Yeah.
Maybe Darwin's Black Box or something. It was a very scientific book, and it was actually kind of digging into the eyeball, if I recall, and about
Yeah.
how technically complex even the eyeball is. That
Yeah.
if
Right.
things just don't uh,
Right.
you know
Right.
happen by accident. So just
Yeah. Yeah.
it's designed. It's designed.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
designed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Powerful. Yeah. We always talk about, and I don't think nobody really knows but God, but we don't know if He did it in 7 days or 7 million years to create everything. We don't know because He ain't worried about time because He is time. I thought that was
I
pretty
vote
cool.
for the 7 days.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's a powerful guy.
Yeah. He's a
He's
powerful guy.
powerful for that and more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he could have did it in 7 hours, just
That's
what
right.
I
That's
just don't
right.
know. Yeah, we just think that I mean, just to make the detail, like you said, just the eyeball. I mean, everything in our body that's detailed and working correctly to do
Yeah.
that, nobody can do that but him.
Yeah. I don't think he gave this day of rest for himself. I
Right,
think that was an example to us.
right,
So, I mean, he didn't
right,
break a sweat. He thought it
right.
all into existence. He
Yeah,
didn't break a sweat.
yeah. What a great example, where God says, "Hey, you can do a lot of things with your wonderful life, but also enjoy your life by resting and then get
Hmm.
back to work the next day, too, as well."
Right.
That's
Yep.
great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us as well. Hey, we're going to get started with Catherine. Her day is busy like mine and yours as well. So, again, thank you so much. Hey, guys, I want you to share this out all across the planet because Catherine's got some good information for you today, and we trust that you will take that and run with it. But, Catherine, I wanted to, if you don't mind, share a summary of your business model, also to your services, and, of
Mhm.
course, the type of clients that you're looking for. And we'll get started on reflections after you finish. Thank you so much.
Sure thing, and thank you. My business has two different major parts. One is franchise consulting, and one is mastermind referral groups under the brand of Network and Action. And in that, I help people create, grow, and scale
Yeah.
businesses so they can expand and control their personal economies as best as they can for their
Mm.
families and communities. I
Yes.
absolutely believe in the power of personal businesses and community, what I call community level businesses. Those are businesses that are managed and run in the local community by people in the local community, and that's going to include your local franchisees. They
Mhm.
are locally owned businesses. So, in the franchise world, that's standing up initial franchise units or
Yeah.
locations for an existing brand. And so that goes through an assessment, education,
Yeah.
interview prep process, helping people find funding and franchise attorneys when it's time. There's
Mhm.
also people who have businesses. So then we get to creatively stack businesses on top of that. And what I like to do is do it in a strategic way so that they're not just adding 1 + 1 business equals 2, they're
Right.
adding 1 + 1 equals 5. I want them to get exponential growth out of stacking those businesses, not just the sum of adding two businesses. I want them to
Yeah.
actually decrease costs or exponentially grow revenues in a strategic way. Um, the mastermind groups, they help businesses grow. So
Mhm.
existing businesses can become members. They're very interactive groups. They're monthly models, not weekly. So uh, people who don't have time for a weekly membership,
Yeah.
they're going to
Yeah.
save about 80 hours a year
Yeah.
compared to joining a weekly group. And that we're going to have business growth discussions and activities as part of each meeting, very interactive, so people get a chance to see how each other think on the fly, and that's going to help build trust so that the
Yeah.
referral partnerships can grow faster. And then scaling. As I've in my corporate life, I created and managed a lot of solutions, implemented a lot of projects, a lot of process improvement that save corporations hundreds of thousands of man hours. So now I bring that strategy to business. And as I'm getting to know the franchise brands, there's over 500 brands in my portfolio. As I get
Yeah.
to know them, I see some of them have some gaps, or maybe if they
Right.
provided this service to their franchisees, it'd be
Right.
easier to get a new franchisee. So
Yep.
now, as I'm getting to know the businesses of my members and others that I meet, then I make introductions into those franchise brands to make them a more end to end service oriented brand for their franchisees.
Mhm.
So
Exactly. That's
create, grow, scale business.
Amen. I love it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, if you're in business, entrepreneur, in fact, Catherine, I looked up some data earlier. As you know, there's businesses growing, individual
Yes.
businesses, people saying, wait a minute, I just got fired or I got retired. And they're saying, I'm moving into the business mode because we have so many talented people, as you know, on the planet. They were working for
Mhm.
somebody else or maybe had their own business, and now they can turn it into a different business model. And that's what Catherine does. She helps you guys brainstorm, help you guys
Mhm.
think outside the box. In fact, one of my pastors said, Catherine, there is no box. So it is unlimited
No,
potential.
the box is being redefined all the time.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people in the corporate world, they've seen layoffs. Maybe they missed the last
Yeah.
one.
Right.
Maybe they got caught by it once or twice.
Right.
Well, a lot of people are creating their plan B
Yeah.
by finding a side business even now,
Right.
and
Right.
they're accustomed to managing people, managing
Yeah.
even other managers. So why not manage a manager
Right.
who thinks like you and is
Right.
running a business for you on your behalf? You have to
Yeah.
incentivize them well, to
Yeah.
make them really want to dig in, but it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. So, all my entrepreneurs and business owners, whether you're new or seasoned guys, you can get in touch with Catherine specifically. Here's her website. All the information is there, guys. So you can take a picture of this later and get in touch with her. She's also on LinkedIn. That's where we linked up on LinkedIn as well. I guess that would probably be a good one there for social media wise. But there's
Very
her.
good tool.
Exactly. So that's powerful. So thank you so much, guys, for listening, but especially my business owners on the planet. You're going to need some help, right? That's where coaching comes in. That's where teaching comes in. And
Hmm.
that's where what we call Knabb Consulting. I love that name. It's a wonderful name there.
Thanks.
Catherine, that you pick for your business. Yeah, Knabb Consulting. She's going to nab you to success. I love it. I love it. That's
That's great.
wonderful. That's great. Well, guys, we're going to move and shift over now to our reflections because, I always like to hear from my colleagues about, lessons learned. That's one of my favorite
Hmm.
subjects to teach on, Catherine, when I was in the quality, actually still in quality, really. But when I was teaching quality control, quality engineering, quality assurance, as you know, one of the tools are lessons learned, root cause analysis, all the above. I love those classes because they really did a deep dive into what's really the problem. And
Hmm.
sometimes it came back to me. I was the
Yeah,
problem. Yeah. And I got
that's
to
very true.
improve myself. So it helps a lot. But Catherine, as we talk about reflections, let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, real quickly. Reflections is just wanting to know a little bit about how you got where you are. What did you learn?
Sure.
Who were some of your people you learned from? The people who influenced you. So we're going to talk to Catherine a little bit about her
Hmm.
journey to date as well. So Catherine, my first question for you is any personal reflections you like to share with our audience? And of course, you don't have to get too detailed, of course, but any
Sure.
personal reflections that you would love to share that would help even our young people, our seasoned people, or just our professional colleagues as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I told you in our one of our in our earlier conversation, I grew up in a very rural environment
Yeah.
on a dirt road, in fact, and the job market around where I lived when I grew up was not very big. So my dad spent a lot of time away from home in heavy
Yeah.
construction work, and
Right.
so life was pretty simple. My
Mhm.
school that I bused to was 10 miles away, and so I was always kind of looking in on the townies and observing. And
Yeah.
as I've thought back through the years, I've been observing pretty much all of my life and just figuring out,
Hmm.
after I watch a thing and see how it works, how can I go in and improve it?
Right.
One of the things that I got into early on was poultry, and then I got went to work for the foods conglomerate, and it was just a matter of putting tools in the tool chest. You grow up on a dirt road, you learn to work hard,
Yeah.
and part of that was just putting tools in the tool chest. Well, as time went on, I think I was very fortunate in that it, I I was never compromised in my work early
Hmm.
on, where I was encouraged to do something that I would consider unethical. It
Right.
wasn't
Right.
until I was probably 15, going on maybe 20 years into my career, that I was faced with something that I was really
Mhm.
considered unethical, and I had to figure out my way around that so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be compromised in my principles. And
Right.
so as time went on, and I reflected on that and got into a situation where things were more compromising on a regular basis, then it's like, what am I going to do? I
Mhm.
have to choose the way I live. And
Mhm.
and by then I was in the COVID world of things. And
Yeah.
so I made a decision at that point that whatever I do, whether it's take a job or be a business owner, I'm going to
Mhm.
do it inside my faith, inside my values, and inside my ethics. And so living as a whole person is a very important thing to me.
Wow.
Um, yeah. Uh, the idea that we were talking about nothing being accidental,
Yeah.
um, I I that has kind of come to pass as well. It, things might look like they're out of control. Things might look like they're accidental, or some tragedy or whatever, but
Yeah.
none of it is. And it's just problem solving all along the way and choosing our attitudes. And
Yeah.
so there's many things that people can be negative about, but I don't know
Right.
that the negativity gets us anywhere.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
choose to be positive, and I choose to do what I think is taking the high road when given
Right.
a choice, because I know I only answer to one person, and it's not me, it's not anybody else here on this earth. So I'm going to choose the high road, um, and I'm going to choose also to see the positive in people. If I look around waiting for something or expect the negative to happen, it certainly will. It absolutely will. And
Yes.
so I'm going to choose to look at the positive in people
Yeah.
and pray pray for wisdom and discernment so that
Yeah.
I can spot right away when there's something I should walk away from. And then I
Right.
just will. I'll be very kind about it, but I'll
Yeah.
walk away from it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and I might just lay down a bless your heart.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But
It
that
was nice. It was nice meeting you, Catherine.
That's right. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
And I
Bless your
mean
heart.
that kind way, but I also mean it
Right.
like
Right. Oh
you
yeah.
need to go fix something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if
And
you're willing
and
to
sometimes it's
listen,
me. Sometimes it's me that needs to fix something.
I
So I
understand.
just, again, that discernment and wisdom.
Yeah.
If I can identify where I'm falling short, then I need to address it as quickly as I can.
Oh, and I love that. Powerful. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, if you're just joining us, I'm talking to Catherine Knabb. She is a consultant and business owner about reflections about her life. And
Mhm.
I wanted to learn a little bit more about her. She's sharing that from her, from her upbringing. Catherine, as you was talking, I wrote down to a little bit, if you would share from your parents, or from your
Mhm.
family, what you learned. How did it kind of steer you? There's certain things that you look back, of course, and see, oh, that was what grandma and mom, dad were talking about. When you
Mhm.
get older, you understand that, of course, more. But what did you learn from mom and dad or from your aunties and uncles, cousins, anything that came up that you reflected back on?
Oh yeah, there was my dad was a very hard worker. I mean, he just worked, and
Yeah, took care of his family, folks. That's what he's
yep.
doing.
Yeah, heavy construction. I think when I was very young, he was actually in the oil fields for a while as
Oh,
like a roughneck or something. But
wow.
then he got into heavy construction, dirt work, not building buildings, but dirt work.
Wow.
And
Right,
that would take him away from home
right.
for periods of time. They decided that when we were kids, that
Yeah,
because construction jobs would end every 2 to 3 years, he would be the one to go and shift to the next location, and we would stay put as a family. And
yeah.
so we had a suitcase dad on a regular basis. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years, and
Hmm.
she was our transporter because there
Yeah,
were three brothers and myself, and we were involved in the little league and things like
yeah,
that. So there was lots of just driving us around, and she'd keep
yeah.
score on the for the baseball and softball games and
Oh,
stuff.
wow. That's
Yeah, and
great.
she would read to us. She would read to us as
Yeah.
children, and I remember at night she would read, and then she would close it off with "Wee Willie Winkle," a little nursery rhyme. It's like, no, no,
Okay.
not that, because we knew that was the last one before bedtime.
Yeah, yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
not yet. And
Exactly.
but, but
That's,
she would haul us off to the library, and we'd have
yeah,
library bags full of books,
yeah,
um, and take them back the next week and get a fresh bag full of books. And so
yeah.
we read tons and tons of books as kids,
Wow, that's
and
great.
every last one of us. And so we're still voracious readers.
Yeah.
Um, it, my great grandmother, um, she was widowed when she was probably in her 30s with
Hmm.
13 kids.
Wow.
And it you don't walk drunk by a railroad track. That was how
Yeah.
my great grandfather uh, was killed.
Hmm.
And so she was challenged to join the oldest profession, and she chose not to do that.
Right.
And so she ended up creating like a food like cooking for man camps, logging camps,
Yeah.
and eventually rented a place in Jackson, Mississippi, and that became the White House or the
Uh,
boarding house, as we
right.
called it.
Yeah.
And two great big round pedestal tables where she served 3 meals a day,
Wow.
family style. And initially, there were like women living
Mm-hmm.
there, the single
Mm-hmm.
women.
Yeah.
But then after the state hospital turned away people, um, then they had to have somewhere to go. So a lot of these were people on state checks.
Yeah.
And so my grandmother and my great grandmother, my grandma too, would help them put their money into their accounts and stuff so it was safe and it kept
Yeah.
them fed. Sometimes would clean them out, like go into their rooms and just haul everything out because they were hoarders and whatnot. Um, so all different kinds of people, but
Yeah.
they would treat us kids like we were just ordinary,
Right.
human beings and have conversations with us. So growing up, I just got to be around whole
Yeah.
big
Yeah. Exactly.
variety of people. And so I love all the
Yeah.
different stories and how no matter how special somebody is, no matter
Right.
how unique their situation is, they have value and
Right.
they have importance and
Yeah.
they need to be treated with respect. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
we learned as kids, and our
Yeah.
family situations shaped that for us.
I love it. Catherine, as you was talking, I was just thinking, looking back on my life, I said, all we had was inputs. It's inputs were coming in,
Hmm.
input in different areas. Could be your family, could be your colleagues, your friends.
Hmm.
You stayed out and hang out with, whatever, and played basketball, football, baseball, whatever you did. All
Yep.
those were inputs to our personality today. That's
Oh,
amazing.
I believe it. I mean, you
Yeah.
think if I think back to
Yeah.
that time when I was back and forth between, say, the rural
Yeah.
county to
Right.
Jackson, where the boarding house was, because when my grandpa was going through cancer, we were there every weekend. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was very formative years for us.
Yeah.
And being taught, being shown by example, not necessarily taught with
There you
words,
go.
but
That's it.
being shown by example to
Yeah,
give care for people, that
right.
was stamped into us very, very hard.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
children today, they still have the same formative years, those
Right.
years from when they're like 2 to 13 or so.
Yeah.
If those years aren't used to
Yeah.
teach
Right.
huge, important lessons, and I'm not talking about
Right.
culturally
Right.
popular lessons, but I'm
Right.
talking about respect people,
Right.
be
Right.
kind to people, have manners, all
Right.
those things,
Yep.
love God, worship
Yep.
God.
Yep.
If
Yep.
those things aren't taught in those formative years, it's going to be
That's right.
very hard to teach them after the fact.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about respect for parents,
Yes.
minimum
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Always have respect for parents, everybody listening out there, specifically our young people. You must respect your parents. They're not perfect, but you
Hmm.
got to respect them. It's better to say nothing than say anything against your parents. Just don't say nothing. Okay.
That's right. And when I see parents just giving over
Yeah.
the care of their children to the video games or to the
Yeah.
TV or to even the school systems
Oh,
are
yeah.
messed up today.
Yeah.
When I
So
see
sad.
all that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, those children's
Yeah.
souls
Right.
um, are at stake. Those children's level of empathy,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
kindness and decency, all of that is at stake.
Absolutely. Powerful. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Catherine Knabb. She's a business owner and one of the best consultants on the planet, in my opinion. She does a great job helping you grow in your business as well. We're talking about her life today, a little bit on reflection. And she talked earlier, guys, about the negative and the positive. And Catherine, while you was talking, I wrote down, first of all, the negative, folks, does not open up or give you anything. It don't help nothing. When you
That's right.
talk, you never solve anything. But the positive will improve things, it will
Hmm.
change things, it will transform things, it will get you happy, it will get you moving, and you will not stay stuck when you're being positive. You will definitely reach your goals and reach your achievements, folks, as well. So stay
Hmm.
away from the negative, okay, folks? Accentuate the positive. I love it.
That's true. Very
Yeah.
true.
Amen.
I think there's songs about that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It sure is as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Catherine about her reflections. And this is the one I really love, Catherine, is do you have three things that you have learned from your wonderful life that kind of helped you? And certain things you don't tell everybody, but you know you learn these things. This is three things that you learned within your wonderful life to date.
Sure. Well, one goes back to the people. To me, people are the most important thing.
Yeah.
Um, my faith is my plumb line. You know,
Yeah.
if something doesn't
Yeah.
jihad with my faith, then I know it,
Yeah.
it's not on point. But
Right.
people are the most important thing. God created us for a reason. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all the
Purpose.
other stuff, climate change,
Yeah.
money,
Right.
business success, all that's secondary to the care and well-being of people.
Hmm.
So that's first and foremost for me is treat people the way God would want me to
Yeah.
treat them.
Right.
Um, I think secondly, if I had swing to business, um, some people are going to always choose to be employees,
Hmm.
and some will break away from being an employee to be an owner, and some
Yep.
are constantly wired from, the day one of the lemonade stand to
Yeah.
always be
Exactly.
some sort of owner or entrepreneur.
Right.
I certainly made the switch from employee to owner,
Yeah.
and 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 I don't regret it. It's not
Right.
easy necessarily, but I
Right.
don't regret it. And I
Right.
would just encourage people that um, there's rewards out there for taking command of your schedule, command of um, your life. It's not going to be an easy ride. There's
Right.
going to be strategies to how to do it.
Mhm.
um, it's wise to measure and to find those strategies and to find the good mentors and things like that to learn from their mistakes as
Right.
quickly as you can so that you don't have to
Yeah.
make all the same mistakes. Um,
Right.
but and in the standing up a business, there's good formulas, there's not so great formulas. So
Mhm.
do some research first, and don't put your name out there on every possible thing on the internet because you will get spammed a lot. So,
Yeah.
but in the United States, there's over half of the employees, sorry, yeah, over the half of the employees consistently have been employees of small business. So
Right.
small business is a very vital part
Mhm.
of life here in the
Yeah.
United States.
Yep.
And I'm seeing that, especially since COVID, it seems like everybody got very creative. And so you
Yes.
see a lot of
Yes.
people setting up side gigs like with
Yeah.
Fiverr or gig worker, things like
Yep.
that,
Yep.
and then some setting up some very formulaic kinds of businesses.
Yeah.
Um,
It's awesome.
I don't think we can get uh, on our laurels either. We have to be constantly learning and growing
Right.
because
Yeah.
everything is changing around us all the time. And
Right.
if we don't like change, sorry,
Yeah.
it's going to
Right.
happen. And
Yeah.
so it's best if we are constantly learning and remaining curious
Right.
and maybe experimenting wisely, maybe.
Mm.
Um, because if we don't at least stay aware of what's going on around us,
Right.
something's going to happen and we're going to get left out.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
some things we want to be left out of for
Right.
sure, but
Exactly.
do it with some awareness and not just let the world float by you. There's a lot of change going on right now, and
Yeah.
it seems to be escalating
Right.
just because of the technology changes. But they
Yep.
probably said that 50 years ago too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you had people talking about the when the first car came out and folks thought horses were the only thing we're gonna be riding forever
Uh-huh.
at one time.
Well,
Yeah.
when I started my first accounting job 1,000 years ago,
Yeah.
um, I was using a floppy disk, the 5-inch floppy
Right.
disk for
Exactly. I remember.
spreadsheets and graphing. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And they even had the bigger. I forgot the size I learned on. There was the bigger ones for the bigger computers. There was I forgot the other. I think like
Yeah.
4 inch
And
or
and
five
I
inch.
had been working for several years when
Yeah.
I took a job with Conagra Foods. And
Yeah.
when I moved up to Omaha, they still had not established company wide email, or they were just
Right.
beginning to.
Yeah.
established company-wide email.
Right.
So right before I moved to Omaha, I was still using my personal AOL account for
Right.
business purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, we didn't have no issues, major issues back then. You didn't worry about somebody hacking your personal, sorry, your business stuff on your personal account.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was powerful, but it's changed tremendously. Guys,
things are different all the time.
oh, you got that right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, those live right now. Thank you so much for those joining us on Reflections with Kevin Vaughan, my special guest today, business owner, consultant, ladies and gentlemen, Catherine Knabb. Catherine, I wrote down while you was talking to, because we got to talk about this. How important is it for people out there to get a coach, mentor, or a teacher of some sort? Please talk a little bit about that. You gotta get some help, guys. Don't do this by yourself. You got to have somebody.
Oh yeah, it
Oh,
we cannot possibly be smart enough. I mean, we can be smart people, but we
yes.
can't know everything. We can't be the expert at everything. I mean, working with franchise, I have to work with a lot of
Yeah.
different businesses across a lot of different industries.
Yes,
And by the
ma'am.
time I've asked questions into that franchise, I've talked about it from one end to the other. So I know a little bit about a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and as years go by, I'm going to be more and more expert on quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be constantly changing, and there's going to be people who are experts on different
Right.
segments of things, and they'll
Yeah.
be far able to give better information than I will on that particular stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
everybody has their area of expertise, their niche. If you want to grow in a particular area, one, you can always go and find books.
Right.
You can go out to AI and ask questions, but
Yep.
just realize that AI likes to please people,
Right.
so it will make up stuff. You can't always count on an
Right.
AI provided answer as being
Yeah.
bona fide or 100% accurate, but
Mhm.
people aren't either.
Right.
When you hear people talking about your truth, my truth,
Right.
then that's all perception.
Right.
So there's no such thing as your truth, my truth. There's
Mhm.
truth and
Right.
there's not truth.
Right.
So when you're looking for information, look for people who are well respected in their areas. See what
Yeah.
they have to say. Watch their YouTubes. Read their books. Um, Learn from them. And if you have a chance to meet them and to ask questions directly,
Yeah.
do it. One woman, she's a deals with children. She's really wants to make sure that children are reared up with good values and
Yeah.
critical thinking. And
Yeah.
she's very values oriented. What are the most important values? And so she's always talking in terms of
Right.
values. She'll also talk about who would be on your personal board of directors. If you could
Oh,
choose,
yeah.
12
Yeah.
people, even 7 people, whatever, to
Yeah.
be on your personal board of directors, who would it
Yeah.
be? They
Right.
could be living people.
Right.
It could be Jesus Christ. It could
Right.
be somebody like a George Washington
Yep.
or a Moses or whatever.
Yeah.
Who would you choose and why? What would that person think about what you're doing, the decisions you're making day by day, minute by minute for your business and how you're treating people and uh, your motivation for things? What input would they give to you?
That's part right.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can even as an AI exercise, just
Yeah.
choose somebody, especially somebody who's been passed away for a long time and their writings or whatever are out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um, just lay out, a brain dump of what you're thinking about and ask what
Yeah.
would, this person, Lottie Moon, what would
Right.
Lottie Moon think about this and why?
Right.
And
Mhm.
just get it to feedback. um, but talk to people who are flesh and blood living today to choose wisely and and surround yourself with people who live
Yeah.
honorably, conduct
Absolutely.
themselves honorably,
There you
and
go.
will hold you accountable, who will ask you tough questions.
That's right.
Those are very important things.
You got that right,
Challenge
Catherine.
yourself.
Amen. Yeah, matter of fact, one of my mentors said you got to have also a resident skeptic. Somebody will let you know you're messing up right now, Mr. Vaughn.
Mhm.
You need to correct it or don't come back to you ready.
Yeah.
Basically, you got to have people in your life, folks, that tell you, hey, you're going in the wrong direction. I thought you wanted to do this, but you're doing
Yeah.
that. It doesn't look like the way you say you believe. That's so
I would
important.
say one other thing is fear. You know,
Yeah.
we have a fear nature
Yeah.
because we have a desire to protect ourselves. We
Right.
have something inside us that is going
Right.
to rear up and try to
Yeah.
protect us from being harmed. And
Right.
that thing, whatever it is, it can
Yeah.
lie to us all day long.
Yeah.
And it can misread things. It misreads things from when we're children all the way to now and forevermore. So know that fear is there. I think
Yeah.
fear, somebody once said, and I've not validated this, that
Right.
fear is in the Bible, I think 365 times.
Mhm.
Like I say, I need to validate that, but if that's the
Yep.
case, then
It's in there a
that's what
lot,
it,
that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it struck me as, something
Yeah.
about fear for every day of the year.
Mhm.
Um, Fear can stop us from doing
Yes.
things,
Uh-huh.
but somebody once pointed out, we get in our comfort zone. And I grew up very rurally, and there would be people who would say to my mom, you go to Jackson by yourself? Because out in the countryside, they just would never even think about going into Jackson. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's an hour away. That's dangerous. And
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
didn't think anything about it.
Right.
Um, so if you get accustomed to living inside a circle and your
Yeah.
comfort zone is in that
Yeah.
circle, every
Yeah.
time you get close to the edge of the circle, it's like,
Mhm.
ooh,
Yeah.
scary. But what
Yeah.
if you step outside of the comfort zone? It's going to be tough. It's going to be
Yes.
scary. It's going to be uncomfortable, feel awkward. But then
Mhm.
if you do it enough, all of a sudden you're more comfortable out here. Well,
Right.
then you push the limits again and you step out your comfort zone again. You go through that awkwardness and scary over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah.
Don't live in fear. Don't let fear drive
Right.
you.
Absolutely.
People in economic times, people think that the world is coming to an end and I can't do anything. So every time we have a change in president, um, there's fear. The world stops, the
Right.
markets slow down, everything comes to a halt. And so we did that last year, 2024, everything slowed
Mhm.
down.
Yes.
Um, Now we're in 2025, things are in a lot of change because we've
Yeah.
got a new president. So
Right.
everybody's in fear again.
Mhm.
So they're not wanting to move because they're scared because they can't
Right. Right.
anticipate what the
Right.
final answers are going to be. What
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
everybody did not act in times of unknown? We
Right.
wouldn't have things like Credit Karma. We
Right.
wouldn't have uh,
Zoom,
Fitbit,
if you will.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Chicken Salad Chick.
Yeah.
We wouldn't
Exactly.
have Zulily or
Right.
NerdWallet or Uber or
Yeah.
SiriusXM.
Yeah.
All of those companies were created from
Yeah.
2007 to 2009 when the world was falling apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in times of uncertainty,
I
when
love it.
other people are acting fearful, it's time to
Yeah.
take measured steps and
Absolutely.
do brave things.
Absolutely. That's powerful, Catherine. I love it. Yeah, while you was talking, I was looking up just a quick Google here. Fear is mentioned 350 times in the Bible. But
Okay,
what's interesting, though, ladies and gentlemen, is that also the Bible talks about God has not given you a spirit of fear. So,
that's
you can
right.
figure that one out right there. And we're talking about the reverence of the Almighty God, folks. God has not given you a spirit of fear. Matter of fact, I had to analyze that a little bit for myself. I said, wait a minute, if he didn't give me a spirit of fear, why am I fearful? So Catherine, I said, well, let me analyze that a little bit. So what I came up with for me, and hopefully you guys can use this as well, fear basically is the absence of not knowing or understanding something. It comes down to that, and
It can
everything else.
also be a caution,
Yeah,
like you're
right.
stepping into something unknown,
Yeah,
measure it,
exactly.
you know,
Yep.
be
Yeah.
careful, but
Right. Right. Understand that
go
heat.
forward.
If there's a fire, you don't walk in the fire, right? Folks should know
That's
that
right.
you
You,
don't
you
do
put
that.
on the fireproof clothing first
Yeah,
and then walk
absolutely.
in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So thank you
Get
so
the
much,
training.
Catherine. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Catherine Knabb about her reflections of her wonderful life that's got her to success and a lot of great ways of learning and also even living today as well. That's so powerful. And she talked
Mhm.
about some great things today. We talked about coaching and mentoring, how important that is, folks. Ask a lot of questions, right, Catherine? We want you guys ask questions, guys. Get people who know what they're talking about, understand who they are, ask questions. Now,
That's
obviously, you
right.
got to use wisdom, right? I got to put that out there. You got to use wisdom, right, around people. So, but get people who are professional, who have, books you have read or studied, all kind of ways you can get people to help you guys. But ask a lot of questions, guys.
And I say pray for wisdom and discernment
Yeah,
too. That
right.
needs to be a daily prayer because, you
Yeah,
know, the Internet of Things can
yeah,
publish whatever it likes, and
yeah,
I'm fine
exactly.
with that. I am fine with that because I don't want anybody telling me what I can and cannot say.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm fine with having to weed through what's conjecture, what's somebody's
Yeah,
perspective to figure out what is true and what is not true. I'm fine with that,
yeah,
but be discerning.
yeah,
Pray for increased wisdom, and
yeah,
when it comes, don't be
yeah.
surprised
Right,
because
right.
it God will begin to reveal things that
Yeah,
um it like the curtain moved aside and now you can see what's behind the curtain.
right,
Initially it might be freaky, but
right,
if we pray for wisdom and discernment, then
right,
we can have confirmation that what I think I understand is true. Yes,
right.
God shows me a way to tell me that what I think is true.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's powerful. Catherine, you was talking about, I wanted to bring this up too as well. We're talking about people, talking about truth. And as you know, there's about 9 billion people on the planet, and every one of us have an opinion, not necessarily
Yeah,
true. We have an opinion or a perspective, which is okay, and we
yeah,
respect that as well, but it may not be truth. So,
yeah.
folks, you got to understand there's opinions. People have their opinions. Some people don't understand what the truth is of a subject or a matter or whatever without doing the research. So, please be careful of that, folks. Everybody has an opinion. We love that. You can
Yeah.
talk, tell me what
And
you think.
and and here's an opinion of
Yeah,
mine.
yeah,
God knew that there was going to be 9 million people on this earth
right,
or a billion
exactly.
people. And
Yeah,
and he knows exactly at
yeah,
what point it'll cap off.
yeah, yeah,
And he made this world to be able to sustain us.
exactly.
The whole
It-
idea of these exercises to do population control,
yeah,
that is not of God.
that's
That
exactly
is
right.
not of God.
I said, no,
And
wait a minute. No, no sense.
and the
Yeah,
people who are involved in that kind of stuff,
right.
whew, they're going to meet an angry God one day.
Yeah, absolutely, Captain. I agree with you 1,000%. God is too smart for that, too brilliant. He's
Mhm.
too holy. He would not create a planet where we can overpopulate. Don't make no sense.
That's right.
And,
That's
we know
right.
better than that. Yeah, matter of fact, you start traveling, you'll see that's real quick. You'll understand
Hmm.
that. There's
Yep.
enough room for everybody. I love it. Hey,
There's
guys.
probably enough room in my front yard to
Yeah,
feed 20
exactly.
people, right?
Exactly.
I mean, and that's
Exactly.
just a conventional front yard. So
Yep. Yep.
we don't use all the resources we have.
No, we sure don't.
Yep.
Thank you so much for that. It's powerful. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, on the planet. Hey, this is Reflections with Kevin Vaughan. My wonderful guest today is Catherine Knabb. She's a consultant and business owner, folks, one of the best in the business to help you grow and scale not only your business, but also your personal life as well. So that's pretty cool. Catherine, I wanted to ask you this last one here. This is the one I really love too as well, is, because one thing we're supposed to be doing, we're supposed to be teaching others, right?
Yeah.
The positive things, the how to get through things and so forth, and how to win at life, folks.
Mhm.
So, Catherine, if you would share a few things or three things, if you would, that you would like to share with people that would hopefully, learn from you that they could use as well. Because we all have, like humanity, we all have some things in common, folks. And believe
Mhm.
me, I can learn some things from Catherine as well. But what would you share with our audience that would help them even though you have learned it as well?
Well, uh, the word, uh, use the
Yeah.
word of God.
Yeah.
Uh, Last year was the first time I started listening to it,
Yeah.
and I chose to listen to it in chronological order.
Yes,
Doesn't
ma'am.
mean that I don't read,
Right.
but for I just wanted to listen to it. It was available, so why not? And
Yeah.
so I chose my version on the YouVersion app and listened to it in chronological order from beginning to end, and now I'm doing it for the second year in a row. That was an amazing, amazing experience, and it still is, because something
Yes.
about hearing it, and the
Right.
Bible talks about hearers of the word. Something
Right.
about that is just absolutely
Yes.
amazing,
Yes.
and
It's
I
alive.
can't
It's
even describe what all it has meant to me.
They're alive.
Um,
They're
yeah,
alive. The words are alive. Oh,
yeah. Um, I would say be constantly learning. We've got ways now between, say, like the YouTube of things,
yeah.
videos,
Yeah.
um,
No excuse,
people
Catherine.
just sharing knowledge about what they learn. I mean, like the micro gardens and
Yeah.
things like that. The
Right.
experiments on different kinds of home remedies and how to do this, that, and the other. Be
Yeah.
constantly learning.
Yeah.
There's tons of books out there that are really good. Be discerning about who you learn from. And then I
Yeah.
would say always be learning about enterprise, free enterprise.
Right.
Um, what what can you do is that's valuable to other people. If
Mm-hmm.
you had to sell it as a service, what would
Yeah.
you do?
Right.
um, Always be equipping yourself with knowledge of, if I had to all of a sudden stand up a business, what would I do?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that way you always have, uh, if you feel like you're being compromised in the workplace and you don't
Mm-hmm.
see another employer out there that you want to go to, start up something of your own. Go to somebody who's done it before and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
can you hey there, can you help me keep from making some mistakes?" There's
Mm-hmm.
paths out there, including those of us like franchise consultants. We can help you do those things. You don't have to do it by yourself.
Yes, I love it. Matter of fact, I was just taking some notes while you were talking about that as well. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking right now, or maybe you don't have a business right yet, you need to
Mhm.
contact Catherine later on. Guys, get an appointment with her. But guys, you got to find the need. That's one of my favorite quotes, Catherine. Find the need and fill it.
Mhm.
Find the need and fill it. When you
Yeah.
start just going out, you could just walk around your city, walk around your, drive around your state, maybe take some travel, maybe just get away for a minute and just be observant. And you're going to say,
Mhm.
wow, I think I could do a better job with this, and then come up with a business model. Call a Catherine so she can help you get started properly. And believe me, you can take off. There's no
Yeah.
reason why you can't improve things, folks. Matter of
That's
fact, we were
right.
talking about that a few weeks ago, Catherine. If you don't like it, change it.
That's right. There's a lady. There's a lady that I've talked to in Florida, and
Yeah,
she's a teacher right now. She's planning
yeah,
to leave being a teacher. She knows what kind of business she wants, but she doesn't
right,
want any one of the, say,
yeah,
franchise versions of it out there.
right, right.
So she's beginning to, I mean, she's been creatively framing up how she would do it, but now
Yeah,
she's beginning to put together the nuts
right,
and bolts of all the
right.
services and stuff like that that have to go along with it in order to
Yeah,
stand up the business from end to end. And she's going
yes,
to be able to do that. And I bet you anything, given a few years, she might be turning it into a
yeah,
franchise. So there's a
right.
way, even
Yeah,
for independent business, to
right.
learn from everybody else and to stand it up in the best possible way and
Yeah.
um
Oh,
and
I
go
love it.
forward.
I love it. That's powerful. Well, Catherine, one thing I want to do right now, because we got people around the globe that listen to us here on the network. So if you would, let's do a commercial break again. How can
Okay.
people get in touch with you? Except for the point.
Well, uh, I created a URL to make it easy to, because not everybody can understand my last name. So CFONIA.com will take you
Mhm.
to my website. It just
Awesome.
redirects you to my website. And
Okay.
there you can find all my contact information. That QR code that's on my
Yeah,
screen,
yeah, yeah.
that's actually the contact card for my phone.
I love
So
it.
it's got a lot of my links in it as well.
Yeah, I love it. That's powerful. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, you can take your phone. I'm going to do it right now because it works real good when you do it properly here. Take your phone, guys, put it in camera mode, and you can go scan that bad boy right there. There it goes right there, and it will come up. in a second and look at it coming up, guys. And there it is. Look at that, guys. There it is. I don't
Yeah.
know if you can see it well, but that's it, guys. That is it right there. You can see it. Yep, there it is right there. You can do that, guy. You can scan it right real time right now. So we're
That's
getting
right.
ready. What?
And
We're getting
it'll
ready.
save to your phone as a contact record.
Yeah, exactly. That's great, Catherine. I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. That's how
Yeah,
you use
that's
it.
I think it's QR code generator with a couple of dashes in
Yeah,
there that
exactly.
makes that functionality.
Yep, exactly. And you can contact Catherine on how to do that, guys. If you want to learn how to do that, she could be glad to
I
consult
got
you on
lots of
that.
tricks.
And
Mhm.
there's some information there too, as well, guys. You got our website there. You got our calendar,
Mhm.
so for appointments, guys, and you got information there as well that you can contact you on. So I'm excited about
Yeah.
that. That's wonderful. Well, great. Well, as we move on here, Catherine, let's talk about final thoughts and takeaways today. I want to give you some time here to just whatever you like to say and some takeaways, things you want us to learn, or I should say, take away from today's talk. Anything you like to say on that?
Sure. Um, I think one of the things that it ultimately is like we are here for a purpose.
Yes.
And if you don't know what that purpose is, you don't know what that vision is for
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
pray for discernment and whatnot, but maybe also go through an exercise of like, what do I want my life to look like in 5, 10 years?
Right.
And just
Right.
really just get quiet and think
Yeah.
through that and just let your imagination go. And once
Right.
you figure out what that is, what's it going to feel like? What's it going to taste like? What
Yeah.
kind of sounds am I going to hear?
Right.
Um, and then what do I need to do between now and then to get to there?
Yeah.
And that might help you just figure out, might help you prioritize some things. Um, I'm going to always go back to faith as a plumb line for making decisions and setting the direction, um, and then taking care of people,
Yeah.
not just the family and friends and whatnot,
Right. Right.
but take care with what you do, what you choose to
Right.
do to leave
Right.
this world a better place
Absolutely.
and to make a positive difference.
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful. Beautiful there, Catherine. In fact, my mentor talks about when we're talking about the Lord and God, he says, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son for the world, for humanity. So it's not
Mhm.
just a Christian thing, folks. He loves everybody on the planet.
That's
So
right.
no
That's right.
matter, even though you don't believe in him, he still loves you. He still loves you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's,
you had a guest on and he shared the link with me and he was talking about the Samaritan woman.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was Jesus just showing us, you know, she
Yeah.
was, Samaritans, they were not fully Jewish. They
Right.
were they were of Jewish lineage, but they was broken by some other lineage as well.
Yeah.
And but God's word was never only for Abraham. It was
Right.
for the whole world.
That's right.
And but it started with Abraham. It started with or
Yeah.
like when
Yeah.
God made the covenant with Abraham.
Right.
Um, it wasn't meant just for the
Right.
Jews. It wasn't meant just
Right.
um, for Abel's family and the
Right.
ones that came after and Cain was excluded stuff. It was really meant for everybody. We all have the ability
That's right.
to choose.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and we can choose our actions day to day, business to
Yep.
business,
Yep.
employee to employee, just to do right.
Yep. That's the greatest gift, as you know, Catherine. God, he didn't want no robots. He could have easily made us robots, and we've all been happy forever, I guess,
That's
without
right.
knowing.
That's right.
But he said,
Yeah.
no, give you a choice, and that's what it's all about. Because who doesn't want that now? Who doesn't want somebody who loves them because they love them,
Yeah.
not because you have to? I'm making you
I
do
mean,
that.
well,
You know,
just think about it. The
yeah,
angels are very, very powerful, but the Bible
right.
tells us that we are more important than the
Yeah.
angels. Isn't
Exactly.
that
Isn't that
something?
wonderful? That is something
Yeah.
when you just have to thank God for be existent. The fact that we
Hmm.
were born through our parents, I mean, we made it.
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot, Catherine. The fact when you just study, I was studying, oh man, the fact that God knew us before the foundation of the world. We
That's right.
exist in God before we were actually born. It's amazing when you think about it.
And
So
he
we
had already decided to send Jesus
absolutely, he released us
because
from
he
this.
knew what the result would be. He already decided. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And he
Yeah.
knew, Captain, that we would meet. He knew that you was going to be on today, and he knew everything. It's amazing when you just thank him, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. We get excited about the Lord because we understand He is real. And if you got any problem with that, y'all call me directly. Don't bother Catherine. I'll talk to you about it. So we can talk to you about that one for sure. But God is real, folks, and we love to help you understand that. We can have a wonderful conversation about it.
Yeah.
You may not still believe it after that. That's okay. But we got to let you know we do love the Lord.
Yeah.
He is real. His son did come. His son has risen. His son is at the right hand of the Father. He's coming again. And believe me, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess, Catherine,
Yeah.
as you believe as well, that Jesus is Lord. And I
That's
think a
right.
lot
And
of
some will choose not to believe, and that's okay.
right.
That's
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 okay.
their choice. It's
Right.
not going to make me um treat them
No. Mm-mm.
less unless they are doing damage to other people.
That's great.
Um uh, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
wall myself off from
Right.
people who are not believers. I'm just not going to let myself be
Right.
damaged by them,
Right.
if at all possible.
Right.
But
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because we want to encourage you guys. If you may say, "Hey, I'm looking for a fellowship," please get in fellowship, guys. If you're looking for
Hmm.
a fellowship, Bible study, Sunday school, whatever it takes, find you a good location wherever you're at on the planet. Find a good person, good leadership, if you will, and also good fellowship where you can learn about the Word of God, folks. It's so important today. And if you need some help with that, give me a call. Give me a call.
Same.
Glad
Yeah.
to help. Yeah, we'll be glad to at least guide you in that area. There's a lot of opportunities for you to get into that fellowship and in that area. So we want you to do that because you got to be around like-minded people, as Catherine
Hmm.
mentioned earlier, and you got to be able to grow. But also do your own research, folks. You can do. Matter of fact, there's no
Yeah.
excuse today for not learning. I mean, you can Google what we're talking about and learn some things.
Every last bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Matter of fact, Catherine, there's one, I don't know if you probably know about this one, but it's called the Bible Project. And
Hmm.
it basically illustrated all the books of the Bible. It illustrates them for you.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Bible Project. It's so good. And but it'll actually let you learn the Bible through illustration. Kind of gives you a quick
There's
summary.
a group, and the name is escaping me right now, and I'm
Yeah,
sad about that because um, there's some of the people are here local, and
yeah,
they are uh, reading through and studying the original languages and
yeah,
trying to reinterpret them in such a way that it preserves, say, like the poetry of
yeah.
the Psalms.
Right,
Um, so it's a fascinating project because they're not necessarily trying to
right,
skew the meaning of it, but they're just
right,
trying to
right.
make it still poetic in modern language
Right.
in the interpretations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful. That's wonderful. God bless them. And I'm sure they're very doing their due diligence on that. They got to do the due diligence. Matter of fact, I wrote down earlier while you was talking, it's important to understand the root meaning of words too. And
That's
as you know,
right.
they don't teach that enough about certain areas. Like the word fear is not what we really think.
Right.
We've embraced it, different
Or there
ways.
could be different connotations of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Different,
exactly.
different, different uses of it in the Bible. Mhm.
Right, exactly. It's not really designed for you to be stopped or fearful of anything, folks.
Right.
It's a different area. So do your research on that as well. If you need some help, let me know. I'll be glad to help you guys in that area. It's something I learned.
I
So wait a
love
minute.
the way that you just are looking at things as we're having the conversation. You're just like pulling out little factoids all over the place.
Oh,
That's pretty
yeah.
awesome.
Yes, the stuff I'm learning. I said, wait a minute. I've been quoting, if God has given me a spirit of fear, what am I fearful of? I just don't
Mhm.
have enough information or knowledge about what I'm trying to do here.
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing. People say, you're fearful. What are you fearful of? You haven't even tried it.
Yeah. I remember hearing like a Napoleon Hill
Yeah.
talk
Oh,
on
yeah.
fear, how
Yeah.
because fear is just so natural. It's just
Yeah.
so natural.
Yeah.
But we can choose to live in fear, or we
Yeah.
can just break it
Right.
down and practice the
Yeah.
good stuff so
Yeah.
frequently that we just stamp out, or at least
Yes.
that fear, and then
Right.
have to go and conquer the next one. So
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
It's powerful. And that's what Catherine does, guys. She can help you guys in your business area and your personal life as well. If you don't mind, Catherine, give them another commercial break here. How can they get in touch with you to set that appointment up?
Sure thing. The easiest way to find all of my contact information is to go to CFONIA.com. That's Career Franchise Ownership Network-in-Action.com. And that will redirect you to my NABconsulting.com, and all my contact information is there. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn, on Alignable. I just make my contact information easy to find. I can always turn the phone off. And so sometimes I do.
Exactly.
And then go and listen to the messages later.
Absolutely. And for those who have their phones ready, she has a QR code right there on her page there. Guys, you can actually scan that right now. I'll give you some time to do that before we close out as well. Powerful area. Wow, Catherine, this has been awesome. Reflections with Catherine Knabb, ladies and gentlemen. She is CEO of her company, Knabb Consulting, and she's a great consultant and also a franchise consultant and a mentor as well for women out there. I'm sure you mentor some women. I'm sure well help them out. So we're excited about that. Hey,
and you guys, if y'all haven't met Kevin, make a time to meet Mr. Kevin. He's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, Catherine. We're awesome together because of God's awesomeness. Thank the Lord for that. Amen. We just follow his lead, don't we, Catherine? We just follow the lead of the Lord.
Very true.
Yeah, so Father God, we do thank you for our lives today. We give you honor and glory because everything exists because you exist. And we just thank you so much for letting us exist in you today. That's powerful. Thank you so much for that. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us as well. Hey, guys, if you got any problems getting in touch with Catherine on her business side, guys, let me know. I'll be glad to send you her information that she shared with you today as well. Hey, guys, I want you to share this out on your platforms because you never know who will be blessed, who will be honored, and also who will be excited about learning more about Knabb Consulting. She can help you guys take yourself to the next level. But guess what? Don't try to do it by yourself, right? You're gonna need some help. You need some professional help. You need some guidance, and you'll need somebody who can help navigate your way through this wonderful journey we call life. And there's a personal life, then there's a business life. And
that's true.
Catherine
both are important.
Yeah, absolutely. She can help you with that. But Catherine, any final words or anything else? You good?
I'm very good. Thank you very much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. And if I can bless you in any way, you just let me know.
Oh, thank you so much. You're always welcome, Catherine, to come back on this. You know, we got the author showcase. We've got the reflections. We got power connections with Kevin Vaughan. You can come back and just talk about, business. If you got some new things coming out or new services, let me know.
I guess I got to get that book written so I can be on the author.
Yeah, exactly. Author showcase. Yeah, we just picked up another author yesterday. Actually, it's last Sunday at church. I just emailed her to come on the program. So you're welcome. Can't wait for it. Also,
I'll introduce you to a couple of others.
Yeah, exactly. So we're excited about that. So, but yeah, we can do some stuff together too. Some panel discussions or whatever we can do to work together. But let's stay in touch, of course, as well. Amen. God bless you. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time with Catherine. Hey, guys, I want you to share this out on all your platforms. I want the numbers to be at least double digits for sure, but let's see if we can get 300 or 400, views for sure on this one as well. But guys, it's all about you. But guess what? Don't be a loner. You must get some help. Catherine's here for you to help you navigate and even give you some guidance, right, as well.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, exactly. She'll do her best, and we'll do our best every time for you as well. Hey, I want to leave you with this, guys. As my mentor would say, remember to always outlove, outserve, and outforgive each other, folks. Remember, there's nothing you can do with the right consultant, and that's Knabb Consulting. That's who we're promoting today. And we're just excited about what Catherine knows and does. And we talked about her reflections today. So we talk about lessons learned, stuff that helped me grow as a person. We shared that with you today. She shared that with you today. That's what it's all about, folks. It's about just helping the next generation and letting people know that they're important and that they're unique. Because I can tell you, I can guarantee there's nobody on the planet like Catherine Knabb. I can guarantee that. That's one thing.
You make everybody feel great.
We just talk about truth. Now that's some real truth there, Catherine. And that's what we love about the Lord. He's made everybody unique. As we know, even identical twins are not identical. So we know
that's true. That's very true.
So we know that for sure. I've seen too many of us say, okay, I can tell a little bit the difference.
Oh, yeah.
You may not get it right all the time, but you could tell the difference. And so we're excited about that. But guys, I want you to share this out, and we thank you in advance for that as well. All right, Catherine, hold on. We'll finish out here. Thank you so much, Catherine, for your time. And God bless you most of all.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Hey, guys, take care. And we'll see you next time on Reflections. Oh, yeah, guys, if you want to be on Reflections, we talk about your wonderful life, lessons learned, things that you may want to share with others that you learned about, for your growth, because all of us are growing every day. So feel free to give me a holler, and I'd love to have you on, guys, for your time as well on Reflections. Okay, thank you so much. Take care. We'll see you next time, guys, on Reflections with Kevin Vaughan. God bless you. Thank you so much, Captain. God bless everybody. Take care. We'll see you. Hey, enjoy your rest of your day and also the rest of your week as well, right? Enjoy your rest of the week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.